Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 13 of the EAFC25 rebuild career mode here with Sheffield Wednesday. Episode 13, unlucky for some, and not to give the episode away too much, but that sentiment is very much continued in this episode. Watch until the end and you'll understand what I mean when I say unlucky number 13. But we jump into the first game of this episode in snowy Wales against Swansea away from home, and we did make a few changes in this game. Ollie Scholes making his first ever start in left back for us in place of Max Lowe, and a few other changes in there. Paul Sullivan coming into the left wing as well, the young American, and we were obviously looking for a good start. We had a decent chance there at the start of the game, but unfortunately it was saved by the goalkeeper. And then a big part of the sort of pre-match build-up was of Viptotnik up top for Swansea. He had scored 3 goals in his last 3 games, so we're obviously wary that he was going to be a danger for us. But hopefully if we keep him out, then we could potentially get one ourselves and we could come away with a victory in this game. But unfortunately their Cadmiurti got a shot away, but it's pushed around the post by the goalkeeper to keep the scores at 0-0. And then Jamal Lowe once again gets another shot there. Unfortunately the goalkeeper saved it. Ingleson would follow up, but unfortunately keeper saved it, but he was offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted regardless. So going into half-time at 0-0, we came out the traps early doors. 15 minutes after the break, Cadmiurti gets another good chance there, tries to play it in the near post, but Vigouroux, the Swansea goalkeeper, was never going to get beaten in the near post there, and he managed to keep the ball out of the back of the net. And then Barry Bannon from range, trademark Barry Bannon, gets the shot away, unfortunately just flies wide of the post, hits that back post marker, and unfortunately couldn't quite get it the right side of the post, so the scores did stay at 0-0. But into the last couple of minutes of the game, the ball falls to the Swansea striker that we spoke about earlier, Viptotnik. He just had one opportunity all game, one real opportunity all game, fires it past Pierce Charles in our goal and gives Swansea that 1-0 lead. Going into sort of the last couple of minutes of the game, we looked to obviously get a quick start, tried to get a goal back in the last couple of minutes. Jamal Lowe tries to get past the defender, plays it into Charlie McNeil, who will come on at this point as a substitute, gets a shot away, unfortunately blocked by the defender. Ball falls back to Barry Bannon, falls its way to Charlie McNeil, plays back to Piotrowski, unfortunately straight of goalkeeper Vigouroux, and Vigouroux kept that one out, and unfortunately the scores did stay at 1-0 to Swansea. So we start off with a defeat, unfortunately, but hopefully we can avenge that defeat and come into this game at home at Hillsborough against Coventry and get a victory in this game, because that Swansea game, it wasn't a joy to play in. The conditions were really bad. We had opportunities, but a lot of the shots were straight of goalkeeper, and obviously from their point, the same real issue was with their strikers as well. But unfortunately, you just need that one strike, and they had the striker who was going to do that. So we're looking to obviously build or sort of come back from that one at home against Coventry, and you could see the real party atmosphere in Sheffield before the game. And we started off really well there. Barry Bannon with a decent shot in the 4th minute of the game. Chalobah tries to get a follow up from long range, but unfortunately for us, hits the roof of the crossbar and it goes behind for a goal kick, so the scores do stay at 0-0. But Coventry then started coming on to us just a couple of minutes later. Hadji Wright, a decent shot, fortunately hits the side netting and doesn't go the other side of the post, so the score stayed at 0-0 once again. But it was Hadji Wright who was really causing us problems up front for Coventry. He gets away from the defenders there, a nice little turn, beats a couple of defenders, gets a shot away, but fortunately for us, Pierce Charles once again, as always, is there to keep the ball out the back of the net. But we weren't going to stop there. It was a very end-to-end game. Barry Bannon with a trademark finish on that left foot of his from about 20 yards out, fires it past goalkeeper. Possibly the goalkeeper should have done better there, but it was fairly in the corner. It had decent power in it as well. So the captain, Barry Bannon, giving us that 1-0 lead, and hopefully we can build onto that. But again, it was Hadji Wright, beats the 2 defenders there with his pace, and unfortunately for us, fires it in with his left foot past Pierce Charles to bring the scores back to 1-1. And you can see the delight in Hadji Wright's face there. But we were obviously, it was a fairly even game. I think, to be fair, we were probably in the first half at least on top. A good chance there as well of a header, but unfortunately no power in it. But as the second half started, Coventry really started building into the game here. And again, it was Hadji Wright who was causing all the problems. He managed to step back, stay on side there, gets the shot past Bernard, gets the shot. Unfortunately, Pierce Charles saves it, and Hadji Wright does just stick to the 1 goal in this game. But from a follow-up corner, Jack Rodoni on the corner on that left foot, looks for an outswinger, but decides to play it short into Sakamoto. He beats Barry Bannon. Max Lowe comes out to get to him. Doesn't obviously want to dive in and give away a penalty. The shot comes in eventually from a Coventry player, but again, fortunately, just wide of a post and into the side netting. So no extra goals there. And then another corner just a couple minutes later. We managed to actually clear this one out. Sullivan gets the ball. Paul Sullivan, he turns Latabodiere, uses his pace to get away from him, plays it into Kabaki. Doesn't look like a very good angle from this point, but you can see there Cadmiurti in the middle all by himself, shrugs off a defender, gets a shot away with that right foot of his, but not quite in the corner, quite enough, and the score stayed at 1-0. Then a change at Change in the second half, Austin Hayward coming on with Barry Bannan. Barry Bannon's obviously a wicked player. You saw the goal he scored in this game, but unfortunately for Barry Bannan, it's his stamina, and stamina comes with age. So it is looking like potentially he's only going to have 1 or possibly 2 more seasons in him if we can, but obviously we want to make sure we've got a player who can replace him. And Austin Hayward's been playing really well for us when he has come in, so hopefully he can be that replacement for Barry Bannan. And Barry Bannon's a club legend, as we've spoken about throughout this series, and obviously hopefully he can play on as long as possible with those trademark left foot shots, but it's not going to be forever, and we have to get ready for that change. But the game did end 1-1, a couple of really good chances towards the end from Ingleson and Nathaniel Chalobah just before it as well, but the scores did stay at 1-1, and then a few messages from a few players there, and then the big message. Ikugbo says he's ready to come back, and we do actually bring him into the matchday squad here. You can see we're not starting him. Obviously he's had a long injury layoff, he's not going to be fully fit straight away, but we do bring him onto the bench against Charlton away from home. And you also might have seen there that we are starting Parkinson in goal in place of Pierce Charles, just on rotational purposes. I know that on the game, goalkeepers, and in real life, to be fair, goalkeepers don't really get replaced here and there because their fitness issues aren't really a massive issue unless there's an injury there. But we wanted to give Parkinson a game. He's a young goalkeeper, he's still a brilliant goalkeeper to be fair, so we wanted to give him a chance, so we brought him into this game against Charlton. They were 23rd in the table at this point, so we thought it was a good game to bring him in. But a couple of good chances straight away from Austin Hayward. Obviously we mentioned him coming off Barry Bannan in the last game. A couple of really good chances, one from range with his left foot on that corner, and then the other one just skipping past a few defenders to get the shot away, but unfortunately neither of them were going to go in. And we do get a chance here for Kadamurti. Unfortunately, once again though, the Charlton goalkeeper does keep that one out. So going towards half time, we are still at 0-0 at this stage. Chalobah picks ball up, makes a little run into the side. Jamal Lowe on that right hand side fires that shot past off the inside of a post and gives us a 1-0 lead just before half time. Would have been nice to get a little bit earlier so we could try and build on it, but listen, we'll take a 1-0 lead at any point in the game, so we'll definitely take that one. Into the second half though, it was Charlton who started the better team. The ball falls its way to Carnu, he gets a shot away off balance, fortunately for us hits the crossbar and goes out, but that could have on another day ended up inside the goal, so we could definitely count our lucky stars for that one. And then another chance Charlton there, but again fortunately for us hit the side netting. But then the big change came. Ikugbo back from injury, coming off Kadamurti, and we could hopefully see what he could do. As I said in the previous episode, he's not going to come back 90 minutes every game straight away. We're keeping this realistic. He gets a chance there, doesn't really jump, doesn't really get the ball, and that pretty much played out this game, to be totally honest, and the score did end 1-0 to us. So a great victory. Ikugbo back from injury, although he didn't really do anything in the game, but we definitely take positives from this one before moving on to the next one. And then we do get a message from Ikugbo here saying he knows he's not 100% back, but it's good to obviously get some game time, and again we'll continue that. He's not going to play full 90 minutes straight away as we've said, but we'll ease him in gently and hopefully he can be a big player for us. But just looking at the youth academy, another couple of one new boy coming in, Ryan Jenkins, a 6'6" defensive midfielder comes in, and he will be another player we can add to the team. Obviously we've got Thomas in there as a defensive midfielder as well, but obviously he can come in and fill in the gaps where needed. And then the third game of this episode is a big one. Birmingham City, the team who knocked us out of the FA Cup with that 4-0 victory, the team who beat us, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was about 4 or 5-0 in one of the first games of the season, in one of the first episodes, so we knew this was going to be a difficult game, and Birmingham, to be fair, played exactly how we thought they would. A good chance straight away from Williamson. Fortunately, Pierce Charles keeps the ball out the back of the net, should I say, of the save, coming back in for Parkinson here, and then the follow-up went wide of a post. But we do get a couple of opportunities. 6 minutes in, Jamal Lowe, a decent shot from range, but was never really going to trouble Peacock Farrell in the Birmingham goal. An easy one for him to save and just tip it around the post, and then we do get the resulting corner. Of course, Barry Bannon's on it, he fires it in, the ball finds itself to Jan Valery. Unfortunately, he can get above the defender, it eventually finds its way to Bernard, and then eventually it finds itself to Dom Iorfa. He turns the defender, gets the shot away, but unfortunately that's a real centre-back shot, slices the ball wide of a post, and the scores stay at 0-0. But just a couple of minutes later, unfortunately, Max Lowe got caught on the ball there. The ball falls its way to Jay Stansfield, and Jay Stansfield, acres of space in the middle of the box, only needed to get it past the goalkeeper and did so with a smash shot to give Birmingham a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately, Max Lowe was playing around with defence, which you can't do at this level, and the ball got given away, and Stansfield by himself. And at this point, after that goal went in, Birmingham just absolutely ran us ragged. You saw the chance there for Stansfield, another chance there which he does take to make it 2-0 and 2 goals for himself. And at this point, Birmingham were really just, it was basically a training drill for them. They were just attack after attack after attack at this stage. We did get the odd chance. Valery playing the ball in here, finds its way back to Valery, he finds Ingleson. Ingleson gets shot away on his weaker right foot, but unfortunately that shows it was his weaker foot, and he absolutely spoons the ball over top of the crossbar, and then Jay Stansfield, once again, he gets a little flick onto Anderson. Anderson plays it back across to Stansfield, and although I thought he was offside, looking back he definitely wasn't, and he has an easy sweep in for his hat-trick, his third of the game, and Birmingham's third of the game. And just before half-time, there was chance for one more for Birmingham. Stansfield gets a shot away. Unfortunately for him, it was saved by Pierce Charles, but Williamson on the follow-up, and he fires it in to give Birmingham the 4-0 lead at half-time. And you can see the joy in Birmingham players' faces, and then you'll hear the reaction. Yeah, not a good place to be at all, to be a Sheffield Wednesday player in this game. And you could hear the reaction of the fans there. They're really unhappy with the team's performance at this stage. And unfortunately, it was only going to get worse for those who stayed inside Hillsborough. Ade get the goal there. Stansfield once again being crucial to the attack. He plays it off to Ade, and Ade just manages to poke it in the back of the net to give them a 5-0 lead. And Birmingham weren't slowing down. Stansfield with another chance. Good save by Pierce Charles. Pierce Charles, as a goalkeeper, it's bad to obviously concede 5 goals, but you definitely don't want to concede any more than that, and he was doing his utmost to keep the score as low as possible. But Birmingham, they could have easily taken their foot off the gas at this stage, being 5-0 up, but fortunately for us, we did have a couple of changes we could make. Ollie Scar's coming on left back, Igugbo coming on again for his second appearance since injury up front as well, and it didn't, if I'm being honest, make an ounce of difference. Birmingham were the same. They kept coming. Stansfield with another shot. He looks unbelievable in this game. He got a shot away there. Fortunately, again, Pierce Charles made the save. And then one of the final chances of the game did fall to Igugbo on that right foot. Tries it first time. Unfortunately, just hits the outside of the post from a difficult angle. And the scores stayed at 5-0. And then the final chance of the game, Paul Sullivan, the youngster, plays the ball across. Comes to Jamal Lowe. Unfortunately, without an eye for on volley. Unfortunately, again, a centre-back's finish to fire it over the crossbar into Rosed. And the score stayed at 5-0. So, really bad result. Birmingham really do seem to be our bogey team here, to be honest. So we need to work out how we can play them defensively. We shouldn't actually come up against them again this season. So that's a definite positive to take of that game, but really poor performance. And then it was only going to get more difficult. Leicester City away from home. Jamie Vardy up top, the Sheffield Wednesday fan. We knew that he was going to come and try and cause us absolute havoc. He got a good chance early on there. Decent little poke in, but unfortunately for us, the goalkeeper saved it. It wasn't as difficult as Birmingham game, to be fair. We did get a few opportunities. Chalobah with another long shot here. Rattles the crossbar once again. You saw it in the game earlier on in this episode. He rattled the crossbar from about a similar sort of range, and he did the same thing there. But unfortunately, couldn't quite get the right side of the crossbar, and it stayed 0-0. But unfortunately, it was only a matter of time. Leicester did come. They did score the goal through Fatawu with a header, getting above his defender and just nodding that ball into the back of the net. And again, we knew coming into this game, morale was low after the Birmingham game. We knew that Leicester, regardless of when we played them, was going to be a difficult game, especially away from home, the players they've got, and that's basically how it played out. And Leicester were definitely on top. Skip plays into Vardy. Vardy gets the shot away. Pierce Charles holds onto the ball to keep the scores at 1-0. And then just before half-time, Mavididi gets down that left-hand side. He looks to find Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy, little flick of a leg, fires the ball in past Pierce Charles and gets the goal against his boyhood club to give Leicester the 2-0 lead. And although he supports Sheffield Wednesday, there was no lacking on his celebration. Boots over the flag, celebrates like he's never scored before. He is retiring at the end of the season. It said that before the game as well, so obviously he's looking to get as many goals as possible. But coming into the second half, he did get a decent chance there for Igugbo with a header. That's what he's good for. He's big, strong, tall lad, and that's what he's there for. But unfortunately, things were just going to get worse. An unbelievable shot, to be fair, there from Fatawu from range on that right foot of his, curls it into that top corner to give Leicester a 3-0 lead 55 minutes into the game. And then it was there wasn't a lot going on apart from that, to be fair. We did get a few opportunities here. Igugbo holds the ball up, plays it into Barry Bannon, who gets a shot away, blocked by the defender, falls back to Kabaki. Kabaki gets a cross in. Good header there, but unfortunately just wide of a post to keep the scores at 3-0. And then Leicester did take their foot off gas a little bit here, to be fair. Barry Bannon picks the ball up. He plays in Kadamurti, who came in for Igugbo. And unfortunately, the goalkeeper stuck his leg out and the score did end at 3-0. But we did come back to an injury. Luckily, only a 6-day one, so nothing too major. But unfortunately, it was an injury nonetheless, so we'll probably miss the next game. But that is going to bring the episode to an end. A few more games in this one, so I hope you did enjoy it. As always, please like and please subscribe to the channel to follow the journey. Please put any comments down below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.